Kelly, you was the first serious basketball player that I knew. Like in 4th to 5th grade, you know how they have like the Topps trading cards? Kelly had his own basketball card.
Yeah.
Because of the organization you was playing for.
Yep.
Like today, young people, they play games and stuff. You was the only one in the hood like, yo, I got a game this weekend. I'm like, yo, Kelly, what you talk about? Like under the whistle, uniforms and all that.
Yep.
When's the first time you played an official game?
That was probably, I'd say, either 4th or 5th grade. 4th or 5th grade. And that was at all because of my dad. And one of his friends had his sons playing basketball. And they seen me a day and they asked, well, they seen my dad and they asked, how old is Kelly? And I forgot whatever age he told them, but they were like, man, he is tall for his age. Why he not playing ball? Right. So they put me in the same exact Catholic league that my boy Roger was in. And it all took off from right there.
What Catholic league is that?
St. Vincent Ferrer.
St. Vincent.
Yep, Brooklyn.
Kels, like, yo, you was the one who had the uniform, like really official games in 4th grade when we was just trying to get a shot up in gym.
Bro, and honestly, that first year was maybe one of the most official uniforms I've ever gotten throughout my years of playing ball. I mean, it was a real official, like, St. Vincent was a thing.
Talk to me about that St. Vincent program, because as I got older and now and I reflect, that was a real big part of Brooklyn basketball.
Yes, because with St. Vincent Ferrer, the league that we was in was called a CYO, and I believe that was Catholic
Youth Organization.
Youth Organization, yeah. But it did have a lot of other big basketball teams for the youth that all used to compete against each other. So you could probably go in PAL tournaments and stuff, but that's not highly organized. They're not showing you.
The CYO was the real deal.
Yeah, you have practice during the week. You got to keep your grades up
to compete.
Yeah.
Tell me about those early days. Like, what do you remember? Like your first time walking into practice or your first time competing?
The first year was probably the roughest because I was the biggest, but I didn't know what I was doing. You know, but I picked up very quickly by the end of the year. I mean, by the first game, I was the worst. By the end of the year, they were moving me up to the A team. I was on the B team, but they moved me up to the A by the end. So, I mean, it was rough, but playing with a lot of the guys that I played with, they force you to pretty much be better. So there's a couple of guys like Jaffet McNeil.
Yeah.
He's playing. Well, he's retired now, but he went to go ahead and play in Germany for a while.
Yeah.
Kyle Odom, Lamar Odom's cousin. All of these guys I played with. I mean, there's a couple others that made it in the NBA and all kinds of stuff, but we'll talk about them later or something.
But yo, this was a real organized, and I'm trying to paint the picture because today every little kid got a team to play on or something. But back then, that was kind of like the elite of the elite in the city.
Yep.
There wasn't many options, and your dad had put you in. You started off, you said it was the worst. How'd you end up climbing at that age? Like, you didn't want to just go home and eat cereal and watch cartoons. How'd you end up becoming one of the better players?
I could say at first I can't say it was really me loving the sport. I think I can't say forced, but after just starting to play in the beginning, it felt good to feel a ball go through the hoop.
Right.
When you miss so many times and you finally get in, it's like, oh, you got it in 2 times in a row. When I got it in 3 times in a row, that was when I was like, man, if I could do this all the time, yeah, this would be good. But I knew it took practice for all of that stuff. And then with the coaches at St. Vincent, they put a real hard structure in place that you doing anything wrong, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be the top or the worst. They're going to put you in line and let you know what you're doing. They're working on your fundamentals. That's something that we're not doing these days with all of these kids that's out there now, man. Like, they have athleticism through the roof. They could jump higher and do whatever they want. Yeah, run faster. But, somebody who knows exactly what they're doing with the fundamentals, man, I do a little 1-2, a little shake.
And you got the edge on.
Yeah, and that's it.
It's interesting that you say your dad put you in, because your dad, salute to the OG.
Yes, sir. Mr. Joseph George.
I don't really take it for like a big-time basketball guy. Was he from Grenada?
Yes, sir.
I'm thinking more soccer and track. Why do you think he pushed you in that area? Well,
that's probably just to keep us active. He knew that basketball was probably something that I'd gravitate to. Although he tried to put us in soccer. Right. It worked for about 2 years, but he knew that basketball was more my thing. Also baseball. He tried baseball too, but Yeah, basketball, he knew that was something I loved, and he wanted to keep me active, keep me out the house.
Right. So you said that's about 4th grade. You stayed with that program up until high school.
Yeah, yep, right until high school. Actually, 1 year into high school, I think.
Yeah.
So the 9th grade, we all played together. That was our final year, as brothers, coming up and playing, because we all went our separate ways. I ended up going to Nazareth Regional High School in Brooklyn. A couple guys went to Christ the King. Some went to Zavarian.
Yo, Kels, y'all was it, man.
Yeah, we tried to. We tried to do something.
At first you said it wasn't about the love, but you became known as somebody that was a fierce competitor. Mm-hmm. When did the sport become your own? Like you said, there ain't nobody got to push me. I got it from here.
I'd say really, I think making a jump between right before 8th grade school year finished and going into ninth grade, mm-hmm. That's when everything kind of changed, and it was like, okay, I'm leaving all my brothers behind. Like, it's the real stuff now. Mm-hmm. Seeing who we could compete with, and me competing against some of them, I was like, okay, I got the edge on this guy when I didn't think I did before. So now at that point, I'm like, man, you gotta step it up.
You gotta go another level. What would you consider was the height of your time with St. Vincent?
The height.
Like maybe a tournament, maybe you was competing against somebody or a championship.
I'd probably say it was either 7th or 8th grade. Playing with like Jafet, Kojo, and Kyle. We played against a team, Most Precious Blood.
Kojo Mensah?
Yep, Kojo Mensah.
Wow.
Yeah, he played with us from the beginning. That was from 5th. Well, they were playing from before, but I joined in with them in like 4th or 5th grade.
Yo, Kels, hold on. I didn't even know. These are big time names in the city.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Kojo, Shahid. He stopped playing ball, but he could have been something. It was against Most Precious Blood. They had a guy, Chris Taft. I don't know if you heard of him.
Chris Taft would end up playing in the NBA.
Yeah, he ended up playing in the NBA. We had some real hard duels against them. I think we may have won or lost the first game, but after that, everything was close, and we always beat them at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Although, I was about 6, maybe the same height I was right now in about 8th grade.
What's that, 6'2"?
Yeah, about 6'2", and Chris Taft, he was there like 6'5" or 6'6" at the time. So I'm going up against him as the big man and dominating him somewhat some games, and it felt good, man. It felt good. Those are some of the most memorable times, I'd say, playing ball against some of those guys before anybody knew who we were,
For sure.